Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video, which is quite an exciting video as we're going to be looking at a lot of fan-made concept art around the Amazon show production. And we're going to be looking at stuff like characters mixed with the actors and posters, show posters and stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting, as you can see the first one on screen, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But also in today's video I would like to shout out a few artists who have in fact let me use their work. And that person is Cherry Bomb at Danny Cherry Fan on Twitter, who has done a lot of the artwork for today's video. But now let's move on to the fan artwork. And at the start of this video you probably saw the cover photo with the Nazgul on it, and looking similar to this TV series poster, which this time has the One Ring on it. And interestingly, the artist has called the show here The One Ring. And of course, just to reiterate quickly, this is a fan-made title, not an actual or official title. But moving on now, why has he or she put the One Ring as the cover photo for the poster? Well, it all depends on if we're going to be seeing the forging of the rings in the show, or maybe going into season 1 the One Ring has already been forged. If so, Amazon could easily use the One Ring as a marketing technique to probably entice more casual fans, as that'd be one of the symbolic things that they do remember from the movies, and more casual fans in general, when associated with Lord of the Rings, will think of the One Ring. So it'll be interesting to see if Amazon does follow this design, and this tactic in fact, and using the One Ring throughout their marketing, as of course it all depends on if we'll be seeing those events and time period in the show. And of course this artwork looks really good, and really I thought it looked official originally looking at it now. So yeah, really great artwork. But moving on to the next fan-made concept art, we here see Joseph Marley as Anita / Sarwan, and as you can see in the background, or if you can tell, that they are actually using the Celeborn from the films, and have just edited the face of Joseph Marley on top of it, because all we know so far about who's playing who is that Marley is going to be playing, quote, a character called Orin. And the description does sound a lot like Sarwan, so at the moment he is the main actor for us, or the main contender for playing Sarwan / Anata, and we are most likely seeing Anita on the show. I believe he does look pretty good as Anita, but the only real problem people have with Joseph Marley playing Anita is that he looks a bit old, as you have to remember that Sarwan in fact deceived the elves and was meant to look quite fair, as we know he was a shapeshifter. So it's quite interesting that if Amazon have gone for Marley, maybe with makeup or prosthetics, they can make him look a lot younger or even fairer as well. But yeah, I can see him fitting the role quite well. But here we have another Anata contender, which currently is more a fan rumor and theory rather than any official speculation or something coming out from the show. That's just pure rumor, but maybe that Maxime Baldry could be playing Anata. And as you can see, his head's been cropped onto a picture of Thranduil from the Hobbit movies. But I don't really think that Maxime Baldry will be playing Anita. I think maybe the role's a bit too early for him, as he's quite inexperienced. And of course, why people do want Maxime Baldry is because of course he looks quite young, he's got the fair face, he maybe will play quite a good deceiving Anita. But currently I don't really see it. That from that picture though, it does look quite convincing, and just like with Joseph Marley, I could see it happening. But of course it is great artwork as well. And again, here is another photo of Maxime Baldry as Anata, and as earlier with Joseph Marley, his face has been edited onto a picture of Celeborn from the Jackson films, and I think this one does less justice to the previous one. I think that one was a bit better, but still you can kind of see maybe what Maxime Baldry could look like as Anata. But moving on to the next one, which personally is my favourite one, and I teased this at the end of last video, is in fact Morfydd Clark as Galadriel, and I think this is a really good edit and concept art, and I know I'm going to say the artist here is use the Chilling Garden on Reddit. He's on the Lord of the Rings on Prime subreddit as well. So yeah, he does really good artwork, and clearly you can see how potentially Morpeth Clark could look like Galadriel in the films, in the show, and this is probably the closest we're going to get of Morpeth Clark looking like Galadriel until, of course, the teaser trailer or trailers drop, and then of course when we see her in the show. And yeah, it looks really convincing from this picture. I believe it's really good artwork, and I can see her playing the role quite well. And from this as well, some may say you maybe see a bit of Kate Blanchett in it as well, because people say there are quite big similarities between Kate Blanchett and Morpeth Clark. And a little thing right now, a little fun fact, is that Morpeth Clark is actually older than Kate Blanchett was when she played Galadriel in the Jackson films. So that's just an interesting fact. I know she doesn't look it, to be fair, but that's just quite interesting. But no, anyways, from this picture really does justice to hopefully how we'll see Morpeth Clark in the show. Whilst looking at elves, now let's look at Elrond and of course Robert Romeo, who is potentially almost / most likely playing Elrond in the Amazon show. And we know this because the original actor who's meant to play this quote Beldor character was in fact Will Poulter, who had a striking similarity to Hugo Weaving, who played Elrond in the Jackson film trilogies. So I believe that he is playing Elrond, and this picture is quite a good quality picture of seeing him. Of course, we can't see his elven hair because the face being cropped onto the picture has his hair just pushed back a bit. So, but in the next picture that I'm going to show, we'll be able to see his hair with him with elven hair. But I can see him looking a bit like Hugo Weaving as well. And I think this photo does do him quite good justice. But I think it'll be interesting to see how we see Robert Romeo in the show and in the final product, as that's quite a middle place right now, as we don't really know what we're going to expect with Robert Romeo as Owen aesthetically wise. And here is that picture of Robert Romeo as Elrond with that longer, more elven hair. And of course, you can see that this has been edited to Elrond in the Jackson Lord of the Rings film trilogies at the Council of Elrond Sitting Down. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the picture. Overall, I believe the last picture that we looked at, quality-wise, was probably better. But I think this picture is more likely how we're going to see Robert Romeo as Elrond in the Lord of the Rings show. So that's all the concept art I have for today's video. If you guys have made some, please email it to me at fellowshipoffans@gmail.com, or slide into my DMs on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll leave those links in the description below. And I'll also leave the links to all the artists in today's video. Please go check them out. Their artwork is quite good, and some of them looking really, especially that Morpeth Clark one was really good. Please let me know who you're looking most forward to seeing as which role and which character. So for example, will you want to see Maxim Baldry as Anata or Joseph Marley as Anata, etc., stuff like that? Do you think Robert Alamair will pull off a convincing Elrond? But of course, with all that, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But do let me know in the comments below, and thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. But until the next video, my friends, goodbye.